So I have 2 more yoga videos to post, but I know that my hiking friends don't want to see any more yoga, or maybe they do, but they'd really like to see some hiking stuff. So there's been a lot going on in the background, and I just haven't shared much of it yet. I am going out backpacking this weekend, and I am taking my new shoes. They are Topos. I mentioned these in another video, and I've been walking around in them and have done some shorter hikes up to 10 miles, but not consecutively. And so I'm interested to see how they go. If you remember, Ultra Lone Peaks, 4 pair on the Appalachian Trail. These are my last ones. Look, they're in really good shape. But what I found was I ended up with a stress fracture in my heel, and that led to plantar fasciitis. And although I'm definitely a barefoot person, I've been barefoot my whole life. I'm a yoga teacher. I did spend some time in some high heels and things like that when I was in my 20s. But for the most part, I have strong feet muscles. And so when everybody was moving to the 0 drop shoes, it wasn't an issue for me. No problem. But I do have a slight variation in the arch of my left foot versus my right foot. And my left foot has a higher arch. And I think day-to-day stuff, not a big deal. 0 drop is perfect. I think 1,800 miles, and it just really wore on that, on those muscles in that area and the fascia. Now, I don't even know if it would have been a problem had I not been injured in the heel. And I don't know, I don't remember an acute injury. It could have just been repetitive motion because of that higher arch on the heel that eventually created that fracture. But either way, when I came back, it was painful to walk. And I definitely couldn't hike, and I didn't want that. I was still in the I don't want any drop in my shoe. And I really love Altra. I had great experience with Altra, so I didn't want to switch. And so I went to what a couple of my hiking friends were using on trail, and that's the Olympus. Now, the Olympus is also 0 drop, but it does have quite a bit of cushioning in the shoe. And what I found was it worked great. It meant that when I was walking, my heel didn't hurt, and that plantar fasciitis thing didn't light up for me. But it did over time. And so I knew that even though these are great, they still have a lot of life, and I continued to wear them. It probably wasn't the best option if I was going to do a longer section. And I'm planning on a longer section. So I wanted to find something else, and I knew I needed to test out some options. Now, a lot of my other through hiking friends and hiking peeps have been into the Topos for a lot of different reasons. One, they seem to hold up better than the newer Ultras, although I'm not familiar with the 8s or 9s in the Ultras, so I don't know. And they have a lot of different variations. There is a 0 drop, there's a 5 millimeter drop, and there's another one. But that aside, what I was really going for was the added arch support in the shoe, and the insole a little better shape than the Ultra. So I tried on a couple of pair of the store, but the heel I didn't like. I felt like my foot was moving in and out of the heel, so I did that special heel lock lacing, and that worked pretty well, but I was still on the fence. And then when REI had their latest greatest sale, I decided to go for it. Now, the one that they had on sale was not a 0 drop, but the, what do you call these? Topos in general. You could use that if there's full price, you get 20% off, whatever. So I went to the store hoping to get the 0 drop and pulled out the shoe, tried it on. It was great, took it home, and then crossed my legs later and realized it's a 5 millimeter drop. And I didn't really notice that when I was walking, but after, holy smokes. Yeah, the Achilles area of my leg, it was kind of on fire. It was tired. And I remember when I first went to Ultras in hiking from the Solomon boots, this is years and years ago, I had the same issue. And so I do think the drop makes a difference. Now, Will I stay with a 5 millimeter drop? Maybe. I think that as long as I'm alternating between shoes in real life, in hiking, things like that, what I don't want to do is get stuck in this 5 millimeter drop. I believe that we were built for a purpose and there's zero drop in our foot, and therefore that's the way to go. But I also think that we're all structurally different, and maybe the 5 millimeter drop is best in a lot of different cases, and maybe it's best in mine. I have worn them several times, and I have to say the first initial cushioning felt fantastic. It does seem to wear a little bit. Maybe it's just me getting used to the shoe or whatever, but I'm not so sure it's going to provide me all the support I need. At one point, I did use a different insole. I can't remember what they were called, like Superfeed or whatever everybody loves. I did not like them. The insole shifted around in the Ultra because of the wide toe box. Don't really want to do that. Don't really want to invest in a lot of money in an insole. I really hope I'm just going to mend up and that I could even go back, because I still have 3 kind of okay to use on certain hikes, maybe not a large section shoe. Yeah. So keeping these, but for now, alternating between these in the day, and then this weekend going on a big hike in the new beautiful Topos. So excited.